Hello mums and dads, with all our new primary ones coming in August. My name is Mrs Stephen, I'm one of the DHTs here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our approaches to numeracy at Buchanhaven. I'm going to show you a wee presentation to start with, and then I'm going to show you some activities. Obviously there'll be far more activities out in the classroom, but I'm just going to give you a wee snapshot of the things that we actually do in our active numeracy approaches to number work. So going ahead, first thing we'll say is about our numeracy. Our numeracy, what it means to be numerate, it means that we can look at numbers and deal with them in our daily lives. And that's what we intend to teach the boys and girls, that numeracy doesn't stand on its own, that we use it throughout our lives every day. And it's a responsibility of all of us to try and get the children as numerate as possible. I'm sure already you've started it by counting the amount of cars that pass you that are red or yellow, or they know the name of the street they're on with the number of the house that they're on, they know how old they are, they can count things into a trolley. So already everybody started to get the boys and girls numerate. In Curriculum for Excellence, our Scottish curriculum, the early level is what the boys and girls will be working on. They've already started working on the early level right from nursery, so that flows right through to the end of primary one. So the things that they were looking at, and it'll be a follow-on from nursery, it'll be estimating and rounding to find out their numbers, addition and subtraction and how they can go about that, fractions, and in primary one we usually just do halves. So we'll only speak about half of something. Money, again, we'll go over all the coins, what the coins represent, and how to add with the coins, subtract with the coins, and equivalence of the coins. Time, in primary one, we usually just cover the o'clock, and sometimes we'll go on to 1/2 but o'clock is our big thing in primary one. Measure, again, we're looking at really arbitrary units, measuring with our hands, measuring with their feet, measuring with their arms, strides, that sort of thing, until they get used to measuring things. Again, as part of our early level, we do shape. We do the 2D shape as well as the 3D shape, and then we go on and do symmetry. And symmetry again is all speaking about halves again, and you can see how some subjects cross over. We also do information handling. That is where the boys and girls look at graphs and can interpret from the graph, or they make their own graphs along with their teacher. There might be what colour of eyes they have, what their favourite pet is, what their flavour of ice cream is, but it'll all be done in a very practical way. And again at Buchanhaven, we try to make numeracy as active as possible. The more hands-on materials the boys and girls use, the better it is for them, because they'll understand the concept of numeracy. So we try to make it as real as possible. So you'll see, just like in nursery, there'll be shops, there'll be passport offices, there'll be hairdressers where there's tills and they've got to pay for what's there. There could be vegetable shops where they have to fill their bags and little baskets full of shopping and pay for it at the till using their money. So again, everything's very real. We'll speak about credit cards and all that sort of thing with the boys and girls, because they're used to that now, and paying everything by just switch. So they'll be quite up to speed with a lot of those things, but we'll just reinforce it with them. Again, we set clear goals for the boys and girls, and you'll hear them speaking about learning intentions and success criteria. So the learning intention would be, I can count to 5, and the success criteria would be, I can show you 5 things, or I can give you 5 things, so that the boys and girls know what they're aiming for and know how to succeed with it. The teacher will try and teach them all these things as part of their life experience, and it'll be, as I say, as interactive as possible. How we achieve this at Buchanhaven, we've got different apps and things and a variety of ICT packages that we use with the boys and girls, because not only are they going to go into work that use a lot of ICT, they're used to it. They're used to having iPads and things at home, and in school we only use the iPads for educational purposes. So they're not playing games on the iPad, they're playing games that will make them numerate and literate. So we have big maths that we use an awful lot of, and some dog. These are all things that are at the children's level and they work their way through it. We also have some Heinemann Active Maths resources, and that's mainly games and things, and I'll show you some of the games and things we use. Also, the teachers set lots of challenges for the boys and girls, so they have to work their way through the challenge, again letting themselves get numerate. And if you can see down here, again, here's the boys and girls making the labels for the shop ready and setting it up with the teacher so that then they can use it. So it's all that interactive process goes through, and I say everything is linked to real life. We also find with our numeracy that the boys and girls have got to learn the language of numeracy. So we do that by asking them loads of questions, things like, I wonder if, say it was 2 add 5, 2 add 5 makes 7, but what do you think 7 take away 2 makes? Or we've got 5 and we need to make 7. How are we going to do it? And we set that problem for the boys and girls, and they have got to give us a solution and how they are going to find out the answer. What are we going to do next? You've done that part of the sum. How will you get to the next stage? And they've got to explain their learning to us. Do you remember when? So we always go back to their prior learning. Do you remember when we were learning how to add and we added things together and the number became bigger? Well, now we're going to take away things. So do you think the number is going to be bigger or is it going to be smaller? So again, we're scaffolding the boys and girls from their previous knowledge and moving on, and always referring back to what they know already. This is just a quote that I like to use from Building the Curriculum 4. It says, being numerate involves developing a confidence and a competence in using numbers that allows individuals to solve problems, interpret analysis and information, make important decisions, function responsible in everyday life, and contribute effectively to society. It gives increased opportunities within the world of work and sets down the foundation which will be built upon through lifelong learning. And that's what numeracy is. It's getting those basic skills in so that we can adapt those numbers, fiddle around with them, move them around, and use them in different ways throughout our lives. Again, if you have any questions for us, please write down your question, and we will try and answer it at our Conversation Cafe on July the 10th. And everybody's welcome to join us with that. You will get further information on that later. So I'm going to leave the presentation just now, and I'm going to go around and just show you some of the active activities that we use with the boys and girls to develop their learning in numeracy. I'm going to show you the first resource we have, because we use a lot of this. You saw it on the first slide. We use these to reinforce the teaching that's going on. We don't go through them page by page by page, but the first book is really important because it teaches the boys and girls the oneness, the 0, the 2, the 3, right up. All the numerals and the counting are taught to them here, and also with that the boys and girls will learn different stories of how to write the numbers correctly, because if they're going to be going to 5, number 5 would be down a big fat tummy and put his hat on. So there's a little rhyme that goes along with it so that the boys and girls are taught how to write the numbers correctly. We go through a whole stage of these books, because even if I get to, let me see, this would be number 7. Again, the story for number 7 is across the sky and down from heaven. That's how you make a number 7. So it just reinforces the formation of the letters, and it goes through counting to 10, it goes ordering numbers, addition to 5 to 10, subtraction, etc. And it also covers our standalone topics like money. It does 2D and 3D shapes. It also does measuring pattern and it does the information handling. So we've got these little colourful books as well to help the boys and girls just to engage with it. It's just that little, it's a more child-friendly approach. But what they're going to be doing to start with, just like in nursery, they will be taking objects out and counting them out for you. So if you wanted 4, they would show you 4. If you wanted us to show them 4 on the cubes, on the sticks, they would just put on 4 on the wee sticks that we've got here, the wee pipe cleaners, and then we'd be able to see if they could tell us that they had 4 on it. Again, we're crossing lots of different things. There's fine motor skills going on in both of those activities. I've also here got eggs that have got numbers on them, and inside each of the little eggs there's a little duck. So again, they'll have the pile of ducks and they'll have to put the right amount of ducks into each egg. So if you went to 3 here, it's got number 3 on it, and again we've got the 3 ducks inside it, but the boys and girls would have to do that for themselves. We do a lot of sorting as well, and they can sort them by colour, they can sort them by shape, they can sort them by, well, I've got creatures here today, different kinds of creatures, different kind of transport, so we'll be doing a lot of sorting and counting with that. They'll also have here, there's number fans, and the teacher has a big number fan, and we teach them how to hold it first and then put it down, and she'll say, can you show me a number 5? So they'll go to 5 and they'll hide it, and then she'll say, right, boys and girls, show me 5, and they'll do this. So it just reinforces that they know what a 5 is and how to find it, and then she'll say, right, boys and girls, show me a 3, and they have to hide it, and then she'll say, show me, and they'll all at the same time, and immediately the teacher will see which ones know what's 3 and which ones don't. Also, we do an awful lot of work on these little whiteboards. We'll do a lot of things, just like I said before, with the writing of the numbers. And if I just do the 2 I've done before, a number 7 is across the sky and down from heaven. That's how you make a number 7. And a 5 would be down, a big fat tummy, put his hat on. And on our YouTube channel, you'll see how to make all the numbers and form them correctly. But the boys and girls will come home and tell you the wee stories for the numbers. We also use a lot of Numicon, and Numicon is fantastic because it does addition as well as subtraction. So if we were doing some addition, so each of the Numicon, that's 1 unit, and there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And if we've got the 10, I'll just put that down there, 10 can be made by 9 and 1. They've got to make the 10. So if we put those away, 10 can be made by 2 and 8. 10 can be made by 3. Oh, I think it might be 8 again. So the boys and girls instantly know that it's not 8 because it doesn't fit. So 3 and 7 make 8. So it helps them with the number bonds, and it can also help them with subtraction, because 10 take away 3 leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or 10 take away 9 leaves 1. So it can be used for addition and subtraction. We also use number lines sometimes for addition. This is a Numicon one, and it just reinforces that the numbers are getting bigger if you add, and they're getting smaller if you take away. We do things like these as well as groups. So this is dominoes, but it says, I have 10, who has, and they've got to look at the Numicons. So that's 10 and 3, so that's 13. So who has 13? So the person with the 13 card would hold it up and say, I have 13. I'll say 19. This is 19. Who has 5? And the person with the 5 will say, I've got 5, and there's the next thing. So that's another way of playing dominoes with them. We also have these bones that are excellent, because if you look at this one, it's 2 add 6 makes, and the boys and girls will say it's 8. We'll double check that it's 8. But you can also put it over the 2 and say, what add 2 makes 8? So the boys and girls have to count on and say, well, 2 add 6 makes 8, and if I move it there, 2 add how many makes 8, and then they'll have to do, right, we've got 8, we've got 2, so it's like a takeaway, they'll have to do 8 take away 2 makes 6. So these bones are fantastic, we can use them a lot. And again, here's a game made up by the teachers. So we have 10 counters, and they've got to use each side of the ladybird to make the story. So they would have 1 and 9 on that side makes 10, or they could have 4 on this side and 6 makes 10. I'll be writing that out on a whiteboard. Again, for the rolling the dice, so if they roll the dice, they make a 5, so they cross the 5. Roll the dice for a 4, they would cross the 4. And the first one to get to the end's the winner. This one as well, if I turn it around this way for you, we build towers with cubes. 2 add 1 makes 3. So again, you can see how it's very practical, very hands-on. Also, these cards as well, with lots of these where the boys and girls can write on them in pens and wipe them up again. 8 take away 5, they've got 3s. They either can use their fingers, they can use cubes, they can use a number line, and that's when we start speaking about strategies. Which strategy are you going to use? Are you going to use your fingers? Are you going to use your brain? Are you going to hold the number and count on? Are you going to use a number line? And the boys and girls can explain which strategy they're going to use. We also cover money and all the different aspects of the coins, and we do things like this again. Again, this is a game where the boys and girls have got to count the coins on the game, and we'll say, right, it's 4 pence. Who has 4 pence? Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, but each board will have a different combination of coins to make the 4. Who has 2 pence? And they'll be matching up to the 2 pence. So again, it's very interactive. These are some of the shapes that we do for the 3D shape. There's a cube, rectangle, there's a cone, and there's a pyramid. So they'll get to find out those as well. They're usually very good at their 2D shapes when they come up from nursery, but we will reinforce them again. The other subject that I've got laid out for you is time. The teacher will use a big teaching clock, and again, because it's primary 1, we'll speak about the big hand and the little hand, how the big hand always goes up to the O clock and the little hand tells us the hour. We'll have one big clock and the boys and girls will have another clock, and what we'll do again, just like we did with the number fans, we'll say, the teacher will say, can you show me 3 o'clock? And the boys and girls have got to hide it, and then she'll show me, and then she'll show them 3 o'clock. Again, we've got games that are all o'clock orientated. We've got, again, the dominoes. I have 2 o'clock. Who has, now this one is 7:30. So they've got to do those as well. The only things I haven't gone out to show you is the weigh-in, because we do heavier and lighter, and the boys and girls do that. And we do a lot of things about capacity in the water. So I haven't put those out for you today, but you will see that hopefully in the future when maybe COVID will be lifted and the restrictions will lift and we can get you into school. So that's a quick snapshot of how numeracy is going to be in your primary 1. But they will also be looking at their dinners when they're doing their dinners on their whiteboards and their smart boards, and counting how many people have got a red band, a blue band, a yellow band, how many have got crisps when they're lining up, how many have got a lollipop, just all those things that they would be coming across in normal life. If they've got pennies in their purse, how many pennies have they got, etc. If they're buying tokens, etc. But if you have any questions, please take them up at our conversation cafe. We can't wait to listen to you all and make that connection, simply because we can't see you at the moment. So that's me for tonight, and I'll wait your questions later.